Well, I was doing a tree job. Everything was going great. Went to the kid that I was working with went to lower a limb as I cut it, and as I finished the cut, the balance got off. It popped back and pushed my saw into my knee, and I got like a 5-inch laceration at least on my knee. I got an Israeli bandage on it right now, and I'll drive. I'm just driving to the ER so I can go get it cleaned up and get some stitches put in it, because it will definitely need some stitches. So yeah. Well, that sucked. Wasn't quite exactly how I was planning for the day to go, but it is what it is. I just wanted to get on and explain what happened a little bit. I just finished doing 2 bigger branches off this tree. I had my main line tied into the main stem of the tree, and then I had a lowering rope set through one of the lower crotches on the same tree. I was set up to do this branch, and I had it tied off where I thought it was going to be heavy enough on my end that as soon as I finished the cut, it would drop down and the whole limb would kind of come against the tree and I'd be able to lower it. I've done it 1,000 times. I had 1 foot on this stem, 1 foot on the other stem, and as I finished the cut, the branch was way more balanced than I intended, and because of that, it dropped a little bit, but it came at me more so. So as I finished the cut out here, it dropped and came at me, and when that happened, it ran my saw into my knee. And I felt the vibration like immediately, and I thought, dude, I hope that was just like the chainsaw vibrations, like vibrating on my knee and not the chain. And then I looked down and opened my pants up, and I'm like, oh no, that was definitely the chain. So I was out of the tree in probably like 10 seconds, and I went over to my chipper, and I opened it up again, and Janet was right there. Janet, I used to work for her and her husband, her then husband, back in the day, and her son Connor was helping me lower the branches today, and he was actually pregnant, or he was born when I was working for them, which is kind of wild. But I asked Janet, you got any rags? And then as she stepped away, as she was leaving, I'm like, dude, I have a full med kit in my chipper right there. I'll just grab something. So I opened that up and I grabbed my Israeli bandage, threw that on. Bleeding was controlled like immediately. And so then I started picking up all my stuff because I didn't want to leave their yard gross, you know. So I pick up all my stuff, and she's like, no, we'll get it. You know, don't worry about it. We'll put it in the garage. We'll get rid of it. Can I drive you to the ER? And I'm like, no, I'll drive. So I drove to the ER, waited in the waiting room for I think it was about 45 minutes until they took the bandage off and looked at it. And when they did, they're like, oh, like you actually deserve to be in the ER right now, which I think helped speed things up. And then I got put in a room in a little bit, and a doctor came in and abraded it for me and sewed it up. And then I got a CT, which came back clear, so I don't have any like ligament damage or anything. I'm sure I have some bone chips running around in there, but I mean, it is what it is. So it's just, you know, an accident. It's one of those things. I've been running a saw. I mean, the first time I really actually ever fell a saw was when I was 12. My dad let me finish a back cut on a tree. But ever since I've been 16, I've been running a chainsaw. So I have almost 17 years of running a saw. If I can make it another 17 years without cutting myself, I will be really surprised. Again, it's just one of those things. It is what it is. But I can say, like injuring yourself, like actually injuring yourself and seeing yourself bleed, and having the wherewithal to be like, oh, okay, this is actually a problem. I should probably fix it. And then I guess I should drive to the ER. Like, I have picked thousands of people up in an ambulance or gone on calls on the fire engine for people who call for the most ridiculous shit, and then here I am being like, I'm just gonna drive to the ER. It's like I don't know, it's like a humbling thing to be able to fix yourself when shit really hits the fan, and it feels good. So I gotta walk around with a straight leg for a couple of days, and after a couple of weeks, but I should be back to normal after that. Shouldn't be any long-lasting damage, provided it doesn't get infected. If it gets infected, that'd be bad, but they got me on a bunch of antibiotics, so I should be good. Anyway, that's what happened.